Hello, guys, and welcome to episode 55 of Cold Beers and Curveballs. I am your host, Chase Almy, and as always, joining me on here are my other hosts, Corey Stevens and Angelica Slarone. How are you guys?
Doing great. What's up?
Oh, just hanging out at the Cold Beers and Curveballs hangout spot.
Where would that be, Chase?
Doghouse Beer Garden in Richardson. How are you, Angelica?
I'm doing well.
She's doing well, but she's about to have back problems because of her posture.
Did we get that homage thing figured out?
We did not. Well, we're going to address it later, guys.
Homage.
Okay.
Hummus.
We're talking about hummus. Topics for the show today. Average Joe Gallo. Is he an average Joe? Hummus. How do you say homage? And Bryce Harper. Let's talk about Bryce Harper, right?
Bryce Harper finally getting paid.
Is he getting paid?
He is.
Is he getting paid even though?
Yeah, he is, Angelica. How much is he getting paid?
$330 million.
And how long is that? How for how many years?
13.
13.
Like Chase said, anybody with $330 million is a target in your book.
Hey, could be.
Hey,
Hey, speaking of women around Bryce Harper, didn't Jessica Kleinschmidt got blocked by Bryce Harper's wife? You see all that?
Yeah.
Why would anybody do that? What a bitch. That's all I got to say.
Hey, guess how much he's getting paid today, guys? $69,000. $69,000.
Oh,
I think that's why we settled on that number, because I think that he has the same sense of humor as I do. $69,546.89 will be how much Bryce Harper is paid every day for the next 13 years.
Damn.
Jeez.
But you could do that too if you win the Publishers Clearinghouse. They give you like $1,000 a week or something like that.
If I was good at sports, I cheered.
Get good at sports. That's pretty good at sports.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I guess, but
Let's
sports isn't going to pay me $330 million.
Be real. No, until the lingerie football league really takes off.
I probably won't even be able to play in that because I would be on the sidelines cheering.
Hey, that's not true. I'd totally put you in as my left guard.
Aw, you guys.
Coach.
Too
I'm
sweet,
ready
man.
to play.
So,
All right.
yes, Bryce Harper finally, the biggest story of offseason and free agency is over. Bryce Harper gets 13 years, $330 million. It's averaging about $35 million a year.
No. It's way less than 30, sir.
Oh, no,
About
it's $25 million. Sorry. So he got the best. He got the biggest
total
overall
numbers, but
Yes.
not even remotely close to Machado and Giancarlo Stanton.
Scott Boras, though, says that they had other offers on the table that averaged about $45 million. Look,
apparently he really wants to be a Philly.
He
guys.
really wants to be a Philly. He's going to die a Philly. There was reports. I can't remember what team it was.
Won't go into the Hall of Fame as a Philly if you have another season like last year.
No, definitely you'll be remembered as the Washington Nationals. But the deal was there could have been offers of $45 million. It's a no opt out. It has no opt outs. It has a trade clause, no trade clause in effect. So it's pretty much straight $13,330,000. It's $25 million a year, as we were saying, 69,000 something, 89 cents there for the day. So that's nice. One thing is Bryce Harper this weekend actually was in uniform, took his first round of batting practice?
Batting practice.
And fielding practice.
Looked good.
With the Phillies. First person to throw to him that it's not his dad today. Batting practice. And Corey can laugh at that. We all know Lloyd doesn't have a good arm, so Corey's like, God damn, I hope he's not throwing to his dad.
Well, in other...
Angelica, what were you talking about, though? How stupid it was, how he gave his little speech during the home run derby that next year they're going to bring it back to...
D.C.?
Yeah.
And that's not where he's bringing it back to.
Okay. But here's what I heard. Did he say... I heard he said something in his press conference today, and it was supposed to be talking about, hey, I'm ready to, I'm going to head down to Florida for spring training. And he said Arizona. I heard he got all confused and was acting like, hey, if I sign with the West Coast team, I'm out to Arizona, guys.
Dude, the thing is he could have honestly recorded that stuff. They do shit like that, where they'll record stuff before.
I'd have to look it up again, but
no, it happened with Alabama a couple of years ago when they lost in the national championship.
Oh yeah,
there was a store or a news radio station in Alabama that was going to do like a remote. and they played one for if they won and if they lost,
Right.
and they played the one if they won when they clearly lost. It was like, yeah, the Crimson Tide just won, Roll Tide, woo! And it was like, no, they didn't fucking win, dude.
Right.
So yeah, no, that shit happens all the time. I think it would be funny if he said something about bringing it back to DC or anything like that. I think it's funny that he went with an NL East team. I definitely think the Nationals isn't really something to watch, although we do have more news about some people they may want to sign here coming up in the show. But I think it's going to definitely be the Phillies and the Atlanta Braves are going to be the fun ones to watch. And I'm a 90s kid. I love everything about the 90s, all the way from polyester to the MLB baseball I watched from like 95 to 2000.
Right.
And I think we're coming back to the 90s Braves. I think the Braves are going to be fun.
Well,
The Braves
that was a
look
youngin'.
they look really good, but
Right?
they also didn't
young.
do much this offseason. That's why they could be in for Craig Kimbrell, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the Braves and the Phillies. The Phillies have said that they wouldn't sign Keuchel or Kimbrel unless it was for a short-term deal, which that makes sense because they got 330 tied up now in
Yeah.
Harper.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so they got a lot. One person I think that is very happy about the Harper signing, Mike Trout,
Yeah.
He is.
because Angelica was telling me earlier what was it about Mike Trout like on an extension possibly.
There could possibly be. He was like offered. It's like rumored to be a $350 million dollar extension for 10 years with the Angels, or even up to $400 million. That's what they were talking about.
Right.
So
I think Trout's the best player on paper.
Duh. No, he's the best player in real
He's the
life.
best base. Yes, he's not good for the league because he's not charismatic. He's on the West Coast. I think is another reason why Harper picked Philadelphia over the shorter term, bigger money offers that was on the West Coast. East Coast baseball sells. West Coast is good. See a lot of LA Dodgers hats out there, but that's because of Only in Compton or Straight Outta Compton, whatever the fuck that movie was. People not really know. When I see people in a Dodgers hat, I try to ask them, name me 3 Dodgers.
that's true.
And they can't. But
A lot of people who wear the hats. That's true.
yeah. So you see that, but it's not real. It's not a lot of baseball. It's very celebrity stuff like that.
It's like a fashion statement, in
Yes.
all honesty,
Yeah.
because a lot of like my friends who don't even know what baseball is wear
Right.
them, and I'm like, what? Are you a fan? And they're like, I think it's more of just the style. I think a lot of big name rappers wear them too. So
Yeah.
Well, see, West
Big
Coast
for them.
baseball for me is what I put on to fall asleep to. Not that it's boring. Not that it's not real
No, it's just
baseball.
late.
It
Yeah,
starts
but
at 9
I know,
p.m.
usually- totally.
right, and only people who are over there can
It's
really
gonna
watch
be-
it. Unless if you don't have a job early in the morning to go to, you
Yeah.
can stay up and watch
with
it.
and with a kid, I'm up at 6:30 in the morning.
True.
So I put that on. So we
Yeah.
go to bed.
I mean, even just a couple of hours driving east of you end up in the Mountain Time Zone. You know, if you want people in Colorado to watch the LA Dodgers, it's still later for them
See,
too.
for me, the Rockies and the Diamondbacks time is perfect baseball time for me.
Oh yeah,
Starts at 8 o'clock.
yeah.
It's perfect. But for people that
8
live on
to
the East
11, 8
Coast,
to 10:30.
where all of your
I'm a
major network, MLB, ESPN, NFL, they're all on the East Coast. They're all in the New York area.
Start right at 7.
10
Yeah.
o'clock.
Right.
It's
Start at
10
6.
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock for them to start a West Coast game.
Right.
There's not anybody up.
No, and that's why when exciting things happen, a lot of the media is just like, well, I don't know if anybody actually saw this happen.
Right. I think it's weird.
Or we're watching a no-hitter going into the 9th inning, and it's 1:30 a.m. over on the East Coast, guys. Sorry.
Being a gear whore and being all about that stuff, Nike didn't sign back for the new Trouts, which I thought was kind of odd. He's rocking the new, Hirachis. You have a pair of those, don't you?
Yeah, I do actually have a pair of those.
But they have that's what he was pushing this year. So I think it's kind of weird. But I think when Harper signed that $330 million, Trout's like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I think a little bit let him down because he's a Philly guy.
Back in the people are always he's definitely a Philly guy.
Yeah, loves the Eagles, loves the Phillies, grew up a Phillies.
Someone was bringing that up the other day. Like I think they mentioned Reggie Jackson. It was like, hey, he grew up a few miles away from Philly, but no one ever talked about him being a Philly guy because he wasn't.
Right.
He didn't make that a part of him. He didn't go to Philly. He didn't go to the games. He wasn't always in Philly. Like that wasn't a part. Felt like he was a New York guy.
Who
Mike
were you,
Trout,
Corey? Growing up, who were you?
like my first base.
Who was your first baseball player that you just?
For me, it was Palmero and Rusty Greer. But like if you're asking like around the same time as well, I was big in the Braves too. I mean, they were
Chipper Jones.
Yeah, I had a Chipper Jones pennant, and I had an Atlanta Braves thing. So the Braves for me with Glavine, Schmaltz, and Maddox, and a little bit of the Rangers because they hit lots of home runs and they were fun to watch.
Oh yeah,
those were the games that I went to. But
See,
basically Braves and Rangers. Yeah,
I was a King Griffey
Early,
Jr.
yeah.
I was a King Griffey Jr. kid. Pudge Rodriguez,
Right,
because
totally.
I was a
I mean, he
catcher.
was great.
Yeah, I was Pudge Rodriguez, Mike Piazza.
Yeah.
And then 1998, the summer of the home run race.
Right. Oh yeah.
Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire.
Totally was cheering for Mark McGwire.
See, I was a diehard Cubs, and I still wanted Mark McGwire to make it. And I think
know.
it's because I lived in Oklahoma. We got more Cardinals coverage.
Right.
And I remembered him back. I remember going to it wasn't Black Friday, but it was like a summer sale, and it was JCPenney's. We're in like bumfuck Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And they had
Tell me a place that is not bumfuck
they had
Oklahoma.
they had Oakland Athletics jerseys. And I
Yeah.
just remember seeing right before McGwire went to the Cardinals. That was the player I associated it with a baseball
Right.
game. So I kind of had that. What about you? Who was your player?
I was always a big Cubs fan. We were big fans of Alfonso Soriano, to be honest, growing up. So he did some work for the Cubs. And when I used to follow the White Sox, for some reason I liked Ryan Dempster.
No, that's not a bad deal.
So I was a fan of.
There you go.
I'm not really a White Sox
Dempster
fan.
was a Ranger.
He was a Ranger
Yeah.
there towards the end.
Remember it was DVD, Volquez, Dempster. I can't remember the
Yep.
first one.
There was quite a few that we followed, but
Dempster's not remembered as a White Sox.
he
He's-
was in my eyes because that's when I grew up watching him.
I remember Dempster taking the two shots at A-Rod when he came back after the PED deal in Boston. That's what I remember.
Right.
So yeah, I think this whole deal.
No, Mike Trout deserves about $380 million, probably. Like even considering that how hard Harper and Machado had to fight for their $330 million. Trout deserves $370.
I think it's going to be different for him, especially now, and we'll talk a little bit about it with the CBA talks and things like that are going on. I think it'll be different for him, but I definitely think he deserves it. I hope and pray to God it's not the Angels that give it to him,
Right.
because they shouldn't steal
Yeah.
the.
No, I mean even as a Rangers fan, the Angels don't matter to me.
No.
Like it's literally it just so much is more the Rangers and Astros to me. The Mariners have always, we've talked for 2 years and we talk about the Mariners and we talk about them on paper and they always flame out. And historically, I've never seen a good Mariners team. I didn't pay attention to the same Mariners team.
Dude,
that
the
you
'90s, the '90s
I
was.
never, I didn't
They
pay attention. to that.
had the best
Yeah.
record. They
They
you know,
did.
They had like 104 wins,
113 wins
Yeah.
or something crazy. Yeah, but that's just not the Mariners to me. And the Angels just hide, and they don't get any coverage. So you've got the A's, are interesting sometimes, and they went on a tear this year.
I think the A's are always going to be
It's
interesting.
just the Rangers and
because
Astros.
the A's get these little blips
Right.
where you're just like, what just happened? All of a sudden they're there. Jessica Kleinschmidt, we'll have to have her on
Totally.
depending on what goes on with them. Maybe have a feud with Angelica Cerrone and
What?
Jessica
No.
Kleinschmidt to see which one's more. You know what?
Which one
They
gets
both
us
kind
more
of-
views, right?
They both kind of look like Topanga.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do
Maybe
like
we
a
can get
Topanga
Topanga
quiz.
on.
See who knows more about Topanga.
Can we get Topanga on?
You guys got it.
I don't know.
And
They got that
we've got
girl
not
No.
we've got not Topanga and not Topanga.
We could get Topanga, not Topanga, and not Topanga.
Right.
I've heard it before, like once or twice. Somebody growing up told me I look like Topanga, and I don't really see it.
What? That's not
Somebody
a bad
told me I
thing.
look like Bert Kreischer, but we're not going to talk about that either.
You
so-
look like who?
No
Who
one.
the heck is
Bert
that?
Kreischer?
Dude, growing
that?
He's a
up, I look
comedian.
like Eddie.
Oh.
Growing up, I look like Eddie Munster,
You
the
probably
boy
do.
for the Munster.
I don't know who you look like, but I can't pinpoint it. But you look like somebody, and I don't
I've
know
been told.
exactly who it is.
I've been told before I had the beard, Adam Richmond from Man vs. Food,
Oh, I could see that.
and then I was told Jonah Hill, and I'm like, why? Because
No.
I'm fat and I made you laugh, and she's like, yeah.
Oh.
So I've been with her for like 4.5 years.
So why don't we stay in the Bay Area and talk about the baseball news that made, the baseball news that was going around. for the Giants CEO, Larry Bayer.
Larry Bayer.
Larry Bayer, the CEO of the San Francisco Giants, was filmed out in a pretty
Bear,
popular...
why did
Yeah.
TMZ? Why didn't they call it When Bears Attack?
When bears attack, wrestling his
somebody
wife to the
filmed it
ground.
and gave it to TMZ, sold it
Yes.
to TMZ. It was in a fairly populated area in San Francisco.
It
and
looked like there was an abandoned car, and I thought maybe this is kind of. But so I questioned if it was in
Park.
Oakland or if it was in San Francisco.
No, it was definitely...
For
You
someone
don't
who
think
doesn't like rum milkshakes.
The CEO,
Good Lord.
I was just about to make a comment
of the San
on that,
Francisco
too.
Giants is not hanging out in Oakland, let's be honest.
Either way, he wrestled her to the ground.
Yeah.
I don't
He
know.
didn't wrestle her to the
For-
ground.
okay.
He went for a phone. She leaned back in her chair and she fell down. He had a hold of the phone. She had a hold of the phone at the
Right.
same time. It doesn't look like there wasn't much. The women in sports that I follow, there hasn't been much. Oh, this is so grotesque. Oh, this is.
You're right.
I was sorting through Twitter the other day, and this is a problem with sorting through Twitter is you find any
find all
dumbass
the
can have
fucking idiots.
any dumbass can have an opinion. People were talking about he needs to be thrown in jail for life. Like, there is so much. Like, I guess some of it was mainly Jeff Passan was clarifying things. Rosenthal maybe just talking about, hey, you know, the MLB really doesn't have a policy on people like this. Like,
Yeah, they do for the
front office
players.
people.
Addison Russell got it.
Yeah, they don't have
Aroldis
a policy
Chapman.
on it. They need to do that. And then you just start sorting through all these things. And, yeah, there's a hell of a lot of people mad. And there's a hell of a lot of people saying, what the fuck, I didn't see anything on that video. So, it clearly, if you haven't seen the video, yeah, like Chase described it, you know, he's reaching for her phone. People are always joking about, she's going to find his nudes, you know, he's cheating or something crazy. They've all issued statements.
You got any
She
phone
did-
numbers out in San Francisco?
I do not.
It wasn't you sending the pictures over?
Was not me
It
sending
was
the
not you?
pictures over.
Maybe the boobs were for Dr. Dallas to try to like get a new customer or something.
I don't think so. If that's so, usually they would call the office.
Well, maybe he
And
was
make
going
an
to be like,
appointment.
"Hey, look how good this girl turned out. Why can't you be like her?" And
You
she's
know
like,
what? And
"Oh
if
my
he-
god!"
He might have. I mean, whoever the girl was.
So the story
you know,
that was passed along though
People kept
was
talking about the foot injury as if that's what happened. And they finally clarified that, and that's what
the story that
everyone
they
just
that
overreacts
both,
in the moment. Yeah.
right? The story that both bears have told,
Yeah.
Grizzly and Black. I'm assuming those are their names.
koala and
Yeah,
polar.
koala. Those are marsupials,
Just like kangaroos, which we're going to talk about later.
right? In the average Joe. No, the thing that both of them said was they were having an argument over her family,
Right.
and something happened. So I'm thinking he's talking to the sister, because I automatically go Days of Our Lives and Jerry Springer in every situation in my life.
Good Lord.
I doubt it.
She's talking to the sister. I'll tell you what, though. I hope nobody catches us, because if Angelica steals my coaster one more time, I'm going to have to wrestle her to the ground.
I definitely did take that.
She stole my coaster. She totally stole the coaster.
I
Five
have
times
a
stole the
vanilla
coaster.
rum milkshake on that bad boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we drinking today, guys?
I don't know. Let me tell you, I had a nice Bloody Mary earlier here, extra olives, big stalk of celery in there. Total fan.
What else are you a fan of here, though?
The veggie hot dog.
The So Veggie.
The so veggie. It is so good.
So the other night I made, if you can't tell, it's not a speech impediment. It's called a dialect, and she's from Chicago. That's Angelica.
Hence the Cubs fan over here.
And she's got that Midwest accent. So I got her a Chicago-style veggie, and then she tried the So Veggie. It's got arugula, tomato, avocado, like a spicy basil sauce on it, and she's a fan of the So Veggie.
Big
Yeah.
fan. They
So-
even made a Chicago dog, right?
Yeah, we did the
It's
Chicago
good.
one.
It's good. It is really good, actually.
And
So-
she's super excited because she found out they'll do it in a corn dog, too.
And I am a huge corn dog fan.
That's why she still lives here in Texas.
All about that.
She's only
Clearly.
here because of cold beers and curveballs and corn dogs.
That is the only reason, guys. No other reason.
She's going to open up her own
She
restaurant
might
called
set
Cold
the-
Beers and Corn Dogs.
She might search for those guys in Chicago, but whatever.
But we've got 24 beers on tap
Right.
here, all Sunday happy hour. $3 burgers.
totally.
This burger and that burger. Yeah,
No,
$3
$1.50 each, right? Or no, $3.
No,
what?
$1.50 is for the sliders.
Right.
You know,
Sorry,
it
gotcha.
is kind of all. I almost just spilled my milkshake.
Yeah.
It is kind of just all in. People were having birthday parties here earlier. We had about
Right.
6 families next to us, screaming babies in the ears. But it is where you want to be on your Sunday,
It
let
is.
me tell you.
And I love cheesy marketing. since Angelica's joined the show, we're up in the ratings, and she's drinking a milkshake, so we know it brings all the boys to the yard, right?
Let me tell you, my milkshake definitely brings the boys.
Yeah, it's definitely, you need a ride home, too, because
sure.
it's like, woo.
No.
People need to come check out Doghouse in Richardson. Chase, what are you drinking today?
Today, I've got a Shiner Bock. I had the Tups juice pack
The
earlier.
classic. Tufts is a brewery in McKinney.
Yes.
They've got a lot of good beers. I definitely enjoy them. Today, I was drinking one from Pegasus City. That would have been High Point. That's a kind of a lighter beer. And then now I am drinking the Bell's Two-Hearted Ale from Michigan.
Hey,
up in the Midwest.
Ooh.
Right? And Angelica's Bloody Mary was made from Western Sun. So, Carrollton.
Oh,
Yeah,
local.
So all local.
Nice.
It's definitely.
nice. So
you
did
know,
we?
support local breweries?
Yeah, absolutely. A Doghouse is pretty cool for us. Did we wrap that up on the Larry Bear thing?
Larry Bear, yeah. Larry Bear just his bearness came out. And
You know, whatever happened, I don't think it's anything to where he intentionally tried
People
hurt
think that he needs to be. People think if he was a player, MLB would punish him.
I could see
probably.
that. And you know what? I really could. And I think even though
So
he's an
is he going to
owner,
avoid the owner?
Guys,
is he gonna
look,
avoid punishment?
after 1992,
Is he gonna
doctors
avoid punishment?
program children to have feelings and emotions, and they're not their own. They have to feel for everybody else, and so we have to live with the bullshit.
Right.
You're a rarity. You're 1994. You're on the verge. Like, my sister gets pissed off about everything.
You said after
Or
1992.
1996. Well, that's
why
when
her
they
ears
started
perked
putting
up.
them
I'm a
in.
94.
Her parents went to a publicly ran hospital to have her. They didn't chip her. Like, they do all these new ones. But everybody gets all their emotions. They have to feel bad for this one.
Right.
This woman's already come out and been like, look, if you watch it, now, I'm no physicist or aerospace engineer, but I have a pretty good idea
You know who
on
is an aerospace engineer?
a
But
lot
anyway.
of people. If I do this like this and I keep pulling my arm
Right,
back,
you're gonna fall.
sooner or later, my balance point's going to be off, and I'm flying backwards.
Right, and if Angelica is right next to you, touching your shoulder, that doesn't mean that she caused you to fall.
Right.
Obviously,
But-
I
yes,
blame
he
James
did
Harden
cause her
for
to
all of
fall.
this. This is a flop.
He did cause her to
Obviously.
fall, and she's screaming
Very
help
much
at the
so.
top of her lungs.
She-
That's
oh
the
my
issue.
God.
I think that's
feel
going
like
to give.
if you watch it with no sound, it looks a lot better.
But
like
she-
just
but
because
the-
she makes a lot of sound doesn't mean a damn
What if you
thing
watch
to
it with
me.
a Jackie Chan movie sound over the top
Oh
of it?
my
It's
gosh.
horrible.
It's clearly not a good look, but I just don't. This is not. We cannot possibly be putting this in the same conversation as Kareem Hunt, as Ray Rice. This cannot
Oh, the Ray.
possibly. This cannot possibly be the same thing. When we have video, people punching people, kicking people in those other instances. This one, he caused her to fall out of a chair. It's not like. Have you never wrestled with your brothers or sisters? Have you never had it like? People fall out of chairs.
What about the dumbass that always leaned back in school?
I mean,
That was you, for sure.
I never fell out. I pushed some kids. I pulled some kids, and I played the next
gonna
day
be
on
Corey.
the fucking
I
team.
don't think my mom listens to this much, but she could attest. I was okay. So I was mad at my uncle. We were watching a Cowboys Saints game. He was cheering for the Saints. I was cheering for the Cowboys.
Of course, a
And-
sociopath, by the way. This makes the story better.
We just got into a family argument like there's nothing wrong. But yes, we ended up tipping over the couch because we were pushing at each other.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it domestic violence.
No, it does.
I mean-
no, now.
Like I would wrestle just the same. Like, I
Yes.
don't know. It seems bad,
In
but it's not
Plano,
that
he
bad.
would go to jail.
Bad, but it's not that bad.
I mean, in Dallas, they'd be like, "Why didn't you just give him the phone?"
And hell,
like, it's
if
all
somebody
in how.
if somebody of our listeners wants to tell us how we're seeing this clearly wrong, I'd love for commentary. Hit
But
us
also
up.
remember, we have a female employee who is paid through Cold Beers and Curveballs Walk-Off Media LLC. So
Oh
you
my
can't say that
gosh.
we don't do any of that.
I mean, either way, I think with her, screaming and shouting makes it look 10 times worse than it already is. And the fact that, his force, even though he was only trying to take the phone back,
No, it
pushing
was-
her
yeah.
back makes it look bad. Now, if it was a player, yes, there would be, I think, more consequences. So why not punish him the same way you would as a
Right.
player?
Totally.
Not everybody should be put on an equal.
Suspended, kept away from the team for half the year. Who knows?
Whatever it is,
Yeah.
you have to.
It's hard to
keep
punish
it fair.
front office people because their performance, can't be measured in games, right? Maybe their
No.
performance can be measured in blue pills or something. So let's
Blue
talk
pills
about
like Viagra? What are we
let's
doing?
I don't know.
Advertising for Hims?
A bunch of old people. They probably all whatever.
Hey guys, I'm not gonna lie. Here at Doghouse, I did watch a cup of Fanta make it through 3 families as they pass that shit around. Talk about fucking savings.
Family Fanta. Let's talk about the MLB and the CBA stuff. They were the MLB seems to be putting out reaching out, offering goodwill, saying, hey, we're going to negotiate. We're not going to wait until the last minute. We don't want to strike. What do you got, Angelica?
So they're definitely trying to make it more, more negotiable for the players and the owners, and because it is a large amount of money that the league profits and lower player salaries. So in order to stop that, end of work type situation that might happen in the next 2 years, it's more for them to kind of make a public knowledge out there that they're going to try and make some changes and rework some of the laws that they have now, or the rules that are set, and make it seem like there's something.
Do you think they'll strike, Angelica?
I do. I really do.
So you think I should still stay on the diet, get back in playing shape, be ready to go?
You could.
Okay.
But think about it. They literally waited till 2-3 days ago to sign Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have taken this long for him to.
I wonder.
It should not.
I know the offers came in slow, but I'm
He
sure
wanted to get offers from 10 different teams. He wanted to.
This offer's been there.
Blow up his name a little bit more.
Yeah,
I mean, he's worth it though.
I think he clearly had some favorites, and he just wanted to keep using those other offers.
But same with
against
Machado.
each other. Yeah.
Same with Machado. Same with all these other, big free agents that are still looking for a deal and they don't have one at the moment. And
the landscape has changed, but clearly on something this big with Boris as the agent, a lot of it was we're waiting for other offers, kind of thing. It had to be some of that with a different player and a different agent. The same kind of deal might have been signed a month ago.
Right, and we sit here and we
or 2 months ago.
We talk about it because they're paid so high.
Yeah.
And when we were talking about it in the car over, I used Angelica as an example. Angelica works for a medical office. I'm like, let's say that you signed a contract with this place and you wanted, you get out on the open market. I own another medical office. I want you to work.
Yeah.
And you tell me this is how much it is. I don't want to pay you that. I'm going to hold out. Now you've gone through your savings.
Yeah.
Now you're worried about next month's rent. What are you going to do? You're going to come work for me for lower money.
Right.
And I don't think you would think that's fair,
that's
right?
That's what the teams are going to do, yeah.
That is the problem. It's like the lack of urgency to offer something right at the beginning of the start. The teams are just taking so much time that until they're almost desperate for a contract, in a sense, that's when they're going to offer the money.
And I hate people that
Absolutely.
compare. I hate people that would compare us to an athlete.
Right.
We're on a totally different level. We're on a totally different lifestyle level. I would love to live like that, but 300. I'm not going to ever make $330 billion.
Right. Hey.
Well,
unless I can fall somewhere
dream
and
big. We're the
bust
next
my
bar
head
school, right?
Yeah.
Like I said,
Bust my head on a curb.
Then your lawyer makes a lot. And you make a little.
Yeah, I make a little. They make a lot, and I think that has to do with Boris too.
Yeah. Well, basically, you were telling me about it before the show of what you had down, and instantly I'm like, okay, we're talking about this already, and they want to say, hey, we've been talking for a year or two now. We've done our best to avoid a strike. I think the players have less interest in that. The players want to talk, sure.
Yes,
they would want to avoid a strike too, because
it comes down to this: the players,
but they wanted to really show progress,
right?
Show how serious they are.
And realistically, the players
they also need a better union rep. Tony Clark sucks.
Yeah, Tony Clark's fucking stupid. But you want MLB, because this isn't going to be. You want MLB to put rules on signing.
Yeah, the MLB is looking at on the field stuff about fan engagement and entertainment of the game. The players are saying no. The off the field situation sucks, guys. The players are going to deal with pitch clocks. The players would, they wouldn't love it. The players are going to deal with if it's, have to face 3 batters, and that would change a lot. The players would deal with the DH, whatever. That doesn't affect them as much as the money and the negotiations and the player service time and all that. That affects their life more than just a couple of small little rule tweaks.
Right, and I think they want them to put into rules. I think they're wanting an NBA-style free agency.
Yeah.
Where this shit takes off. We got this. You got to do this. You can't be holding out. I think that I wouldn't even be surprised if they try to set some new minimums.
Right.
Even with,
that was one
if
thing.
This is where your contract's at, here was where we're at. I do know you mentioned something about pre-arbitration.
Yes.
They want that as well.
Yeah, they want to make changes to that. The service time, that way many teams manipulate to save money and gain longer control over a player, and that's not fair. That's not fair to the player.
I know.
So
you know what else is not, Joe? Fair? It wouldn't be fair if we didn't have an Average Joe segment on this show.
Average Joe? We will do an Average Joe.
I think it's time for Average Joe segment, guys.
oh my god,
What's the Average Joe?
what's the average Joe? Tell us about it.
Tell us who's not an Average Joe, Angelica.
Who is not an average
All
Joe
right,
is Joe.
Okay, here
Palumbo.
I've got this idea. I've got this clue for you.
All right,
This Rangers pitcher pitched
stop.
an inning a couple days ago. Pitched an inning, wasn't the greatest. Pitched a couple innings. It was pretty good. He's the number 7 listed prospect on MLB.com for the Texas Rangers. Who am I talking about?
Dun, dun, dun.
You should read it before you guess off the picture, though.
I'm gonna go with Joe Palumbo.
Joe Palumbo. Dig, dig, dig. You're right.
That is true.
Is he average or not?
He is not average.
God,
He's
not
more than that.
Way better than
Way
average.
better than average. Let me tell you.
I've got another riddle for you, Angelica.
Oh,
We've
no.
got a left-handed hitting, power hitting prospect for the Texas Rangers.
Big stick.
Who just
Got a big stick.
adopted a kangaroo. Who is that?
That would be our good friend Joey Gallo. He adopted a Joey.
What? Man, what a nice guy. Adopting a kangaroo.
Hey,
know-
Ronald is Joe in Spanish. He adopted a condor. Ronald Guzman.
Do we have a fact check
I
on
don't know if
that?
we have a fact check.
Ronald is
Either
Joe
way,
in Spanish.
They are
says
not your
Jay.
average Joes. They are more than that. They were great Joes, let me tell you.
Do you date average Joes or do you like above average
I
Joes?
like above average Joes.
So
I
Joe
mean,
Palumbo, Joey Gallo.
Hey,
All right,
got a
both
shot.
of them slide into your DMs, right?
Oh.
Who are you hitting back first?
Oh, dang. I don't think she could possibly answer that.
Who you hitting back
that's
first?
for another day. Just depends on how they do it, you know?
Like
Oh,
in politics.
all right,
she
right.
said no comment.
So,
No comment.
no comment.
so they got a cheesy pickup line. One of them's got a cheesy pickup line.
Oh my gosh. We're not talking about this right now, okay?
I think we are, but maybe not.
So, okay, since the show started, have you had anybody hit you up about the show besides your parents?
How many listeners have we gotten from?
Yeah, has anybody talked to you about since
I
joining
mean,
the show?
you know, they have asked because of like running social media accounts, kind of seeing mine and asking what it is. So if we have extra tune-in listeners, it would
Right.
be from my friends,
But you haven't
So-
had any people that are like,
not a
Hey,
Joey Gallo.
been listening to the Cold Beers and Curveballs podcast and been having them weird dreams every night when I go
I
to
have
sleep
not
and
had
listen to-
Rangers fan 6969 slide in my
Oh,
DMs and ask me
man.
about that.
Man.
No comment from Tim Tebow from our first show.
You didn't
So-
happen to save my
Unfortunate.
number in your phone as Rangers fan 6969 so it shows up.
How unfortunate.
Gosh.
No, we're talking about the Rangers. We've got Ronald Guzman, who
Which is also Joe in Spanish.
that's what you
The
said.
Condor.
Yeah, he goes. You know, people call him the Condor because he had a kind of funny picture where he looked arms spread out, and he's got a long wingspan.
Have
He's-
you ever watched him run?
He plays pretty good on first base.
Looks like a wounded vulture. Looks like
Well,
you clip a vulture with a
wound-
Prius.
Wounded vulture would be similar every day in California.
Yeah.
When a Prius clips a wounded vulture.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. You know,
Did you
Condor,
say he was
a
pretty
rookie.
flexible?
He was he was
Real
you
flexible.
said that. He was a rookie last year. You know, we're looking for improvement for this year. Joey Gallo, lots of strikeouts last year.
I
We're
don't
looking for
know because I'm a
improvement
Red
on that.
Sox fan. I don't know what improvement looks like. Can't get any
Speaking
better
of-
than that.
Can't get any
last
better
year.
than that.
Well,
right?
from the Red Sox point of view, David Ortiz is a big fan of the
David
team this
Ortiz
year.
is missing
He
it.
is.
That's what it
Poppy.
is. I followed that whole Instagram story and followed it all online. He was in uniform. He was out. He was
He's
missing
serious.
every.
He's
fucking
missing
minute of
it. He's missing it, but he's saying that ball club looks so good from head to toe, and there's
He-
so much
he likes the
confidence.
culture.
He does. He misses it. I think that's really what it is. He wants to be on the team without physically being on the team again. I think.
Right.
So
See,
I think it's more about.
I'm getting in contact with Dirk's people. For
that
his,
was a really fast segue from the Rangers
for
to
his
the
year.
Red
Well,
Sox.
because
I got lost.
Dirk will want to come back in a couple
Oh,
of years.
Dirk,
when
we're
they
now
do the
talking
thing.
about Dallas news again.
No, so Dow, I wanted to call.
Dallas Keuchel? Cy Young. Anyway.
I want to. Cy Young. No, I want to call the Dirk's. What is that? Dirk's Heroes thing that they do out at.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
like
yeah,
Jared
the
Sandler
Heroes
works
game.
with that too, right?
Let's get
Yes.
Dirk during like the 7th inning stretch. Let's get a Dirk and Guzman race around the bases to see.
Guzman's faster. Shut up.
They are
you know
faster,
he's
but
fast.
they both run like fucking morons.
They run like wounded gazelles, like a giraffe with an ankle problem. Like
It's like when you see like people in physical therapy and you're not supposed to laugh.
you're like, you've got a long road ahead of you. You look at Condor and you're just
You're
like,
really an inspiration, but
one day you might steal a base, Condor.
if you
Like,
didn't have if you
Jeez.
didn't have this problem, I'd be laughing. Like, luckily there's Dirk Nowitzki and
Right.
Ronald Guzman out there so that we can laugh.
right, totally.
In other news, Rougned Odor finally got his wings clipped. Looks like his ears aren't pointing out as much. Maybe he used a little bit of that signing bonus to go get some ear work
You're
done.
kidding.
Some
I'm not.
ear
Looks
work?
like they kind of got pinned back a little bit.
Hey.
Just a hunch.
If that's the case,
It's probably just a camera angle.
it's
Chase.
probably just
He
the
wasn't in
camera
the
angle.
office.
No,
No?
he was not. he was
luckily
not.
He shaved them pubes. Good
Oh my
that
gosh.
were on
almighty.
his face. Anyway, now that we're talking Rangers
Balls.
again, let's wrap up the whole Joey Gallo thing. I don't think anybody's calling him Joe, but he is not an average Joe. And he did adopt.
Randy called him Joe and he got fired. That's what I'm
Exactly.
holding out
That's
on.
exactly what I'm getting at.
Could be it.
So he did adopt a kangaroo because his name is Joey, and little kangaroos are Joeys. If anybody didn't get the connection, but he was just following Condor because Ronald Guzman adopted a California condor. That's really good for him, right? You know, he's helping protect the animals and
Angelica, this is where we're missing
Blah, blah,
the
blah.
boat. We should start adopting out octopus. Like, have people be like, hey, here's you give us $90, we'll give you a picture of an octopus. Be like, hey, this is your octopus.
Is your
Why octopus out of everything? What was your choice for that
there's
one?
not a lot of them. Nobody will really ever know if they have that. It's kind of like the fucking star thing. Like where people adopt a star.
You can name a star
All right.
after you. Is the biggest game of the world,
Yeah.
right?
Or,
That is every
mean,
every
I-
guy's first trip around the bases.
I'm
with a
not gonna
girl.
lie, you guys. I'm pretty sure.
Do you have a star named after
I
you?
do not have a star
Ooh.
named after me, but I'm pretty sure my aunt may have adopted a
Dolphin.
koala. No, not koala.
Wallaby.
With the
Oh, a panda.
Panda
He
bear.
adopted a panda.
the
like
panda
how you-
bear.
Hey, will you tell your aunt I've got some oceanside property in Arizona we need to talk about?
We're going to Arizona,
So-
guys, and we're going to see some Oceanside.
Oh my
Yeah, I'm gonna show Corey that way we can get that listed up on
Gonna
Zillow
be
real
playing
quick.
Some
Tell
George
your aunt
Strait
about
when we go out there.
I really do think like we're missing out. If there's fucking celebrities, what's he gonna do with the condor? It's not like he's sitting at his house.
No,
Hey, my-
he just gets to help support
He
its
gets- yes.
habitat. And
Support-
stuff.
What do
the
octopus
animal.
eat?
I
Can we
don't
send
know.
a load of whatever octopus eat
barnacles? I have no
once
idea.
a month to
I
where?
think this segment is
But
run its course,
speaking
guys.
of that, do you have any more news going on with the Texas Rangers?
Oh, I got so
Are there
much.
any
All
more
right.
Haven't
players
even
that
got-
she should look for
Any
besides?
more?
putting
Oh,
on
I
the
haven't
phone?
even got to that. Let's
All
talk
right, go
about Craig
ahead.
Kimbrell, guys.
Okay.
What's up?
Not going to be a Ranger.
He's not going to be a Ranger, that's for sure. But I know the Nationals are pushing for him at the moment. He is looking for a 5 to 6 year deal for anywhere between 80 to 100 million. So nothing too big, but kind of more medium short term. Say
5 years, 15 to 20 million a year,
That's-
80 million.
yeah.
That's still pretty significant. for
it's no
somebody who hasn't-
330 though.
For somebody who hasn't signed, and it's already March 4th or whatever today is.
Yeah.
March
The
3rd.
Braves looking at him too.
Phillies would also
Seems
consider
to be
signing
everybody
him.
in the NL East, not the AL East anymore, but
Yeah, it looks like he's moving on. Oh, well, the Rays in the AL East. I believe the Rays.
oh, gotcha.
Some
Sorry.
talk.
They considered.
This one though, good for Corey and for us over on the other side.
Right.
Yu Darvish had his second spring training start since he's coming back. He says that he's felt the best stuff in his life, and
good
he's
news.
also going to do all of his interviews in English this year. He's not going to have an interpreter.
Who is that again?
Yu Darvish.
You Darvish. Oh, making progress.
Yeah, he said that's going to be part of his rebuild, not to rely on the Japanese language to fully immerse himself.
Nice. Is he still part of the Cubs?
He's still a part of the Cubs.
He doesn't really.
Chug it.
He doesn't really.
You remember that Cubs player
were talking about the
Fukudome?
Cubs.
Yes.
And you like-
Fukudome.
yeah, and his jersey clearly said
Fuck you,
Fuckadome.
do me. No, it was fuck you, do me.
Yeah, fuck you, do me. Like, that was the greatest shirt ever.
That was a big hit in Chicago, let me tell you.
There was also another player. He played for the Phillies. His last name was Bastardo, and his number was 69. And I wanted
Bastard,
that jersey. And my
69,
parents
man.
would not buy me that jersey for nothing.
Aw.
They're like, how about a nice Edgar Martinez jersey? I'm like, that guy punches people, Mom.
Jeez.
He did. He punched a player when he was coaching for the D-backs. That's why he got blackballed.
That's a
Speaking of blackballing, I don't know where we're going with that one. R. Kelly, a black ball, and
I think we're talking
my
about
God.
Salvador Perez. What you got, guys?
Yeah, what about? He hasn't been blackballed, but
He is not, but he is definitely out for the entire season. He will be getting Tommy John. The Rangers,
Tommy John surgery.
The Royals, they're going to have to. Yes. Tommy John
hopefully
surgery.
he's not
Come
picking
on.
Tommy John up because he's like 70.
Oh my gosh, no! But he will be getting the surgery, so he's going to be out.
Cy Young roll into town.
Who are you picking? Who's the average Joe?
Oh my gosh! But they do have two other catchers, Cam Gallagher and Mabry's Villoria.
Real
No,
Muto.
it's not Villarreal. It's Villaria.
Hey guys, if you do work in
but-
You said
baseball,
diarrhea?
baseball/reference.com. If you click on the bio, it helps us understand which one these are.
Right, how
'Cause
to
we had
say
to look
it.
that up early.
We did. We did not know how to pronounce that last name, but they
Or
have
the
played
first.
in.
I don't
Right.
think it actually
Mabry's.
is baseball/reference.com.
Hyphen reference. Sorry.
But just saying.
Either way, these two guys have played in less than 50 major league games, so it's going to be big for how the Royals will have to cope without Salvador Perez for the year.
Right. Well, A, nobody cares about the Royals because they suck. And B, Salvador
But-
Perez is the only guy who doesn't suck on there.
He was.
And
I mean,
Right.
B, this is a good reminder to everybody that not only pitchers have elbow strain, because every time a pitcher pitches, the catcher throws it back.
Yes.
Right.
Matt Wieters actually had to deal with it a few years ago, back when he was still with Baltimore on that, in his prime or whatnot.
Yeah. My brother was a catcher. You played catcher.
You still have to throw the ball. I mean, you're not
Throw
throwing
it.
it as
You're-
hard as the pitcher,
You're still throwing it 150 times a game.
but
Yep.
you're yes,
And then
exactly.
you get low on pitchers, and your coach is like, "Hey, Chase, you're not going to wear pads next
Right.
inning." And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "You have to go pitch." And I'm like, "All right." I got ejected from a game because the coach told me to put a player on, and I hit him because I knew I only had about seven more throws I could make. And I was just like, I'm not wasting 4 of those on putting someone on.
These
so
days,
boom.
you wouldn't have to waste a pitch.
Yeah, no, I could just be like, hey, put it on.
Yeah. What else did we have? We had underrated teams to look out for, I think.
We
You know,
do-
it's just but
Yeah,
to go back
sorry,
to the CBA thing, I know we didn't cover this in pre-show.
Go for it.
The Atlantic League in independent baseball.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they have the
Remembered.
Sugarland Skeeters, who are in Texas, Long Island Ducks, Somerset Patriots in New Jersey. It's all mainly that Atlantic Coast League. It's the premier minor league, unaffiliated independent ball.
Independent.
You get a lot of guys
Yeah.
out of that. You get a lot of guys that go back. They've actually been adopted by the MLB to kind of be their lab rats
Yeah,
now.
it seems to be a partnership to try out new rules and stuff.
They're going to start using this league to test out. They want to move the mound back.
Mhm.
They want to use the pitch clock. They want to use some other things to make the pace of play a little bit better. So they're kind of using it as, hey, we're going to be doing this, so we're going to be watching you, so more eyes will be on your league, so we
Right.
could find other people. Okay, so a lot of people know independent ball, you can find some diamonds in the rough there.
You can.
Max Scherzer pitched in Fort Worth.
The one you don't want to talk about, Bivens Dirks, right?
Bivens Dirks, he was there. Several players who, may have an injury history or something that's trying to show, hey, don't fucking worry about that.
Yeah.
I can throw gas. I can do this. I can hit. A lot of people go there. Some people go to the independent leagues to die. That's where it all ends, like Rafael Palmeiro. There's a lot of in between. There's a lot of different stages in that. But MLB picks up the biggest one and the best in the league.
Yeah.
I believe one of your buddies, Alex Berg.
right.
He played for the Long Island Ducks.
There you go.
Got another call up to play AAA for the Dodgers. Now I believe he's in the Rangers coaching staff.
Oh, I got
A lot of things can happen in those leagues, and I think they're going to really use that or exploit that to kind of get these new rule changes across. I've seen some mixed reviews about it from people that I know that work in independent baseball who have played in the big leagues, that it may not be beneficial for players. Some players want out, but they're feared they will get blackballed, as I was saying earlier on that.
I don't understand why.
If they don't want to play in that league, they'll forward it on kind of like, oh, you don't want to play in this league because we're doing rule changes. They're going to make it to where you can't find any other job.
Gotcha. And the other way around, I can see it totally as trying to just slowly convince. Like if MLB, Manfred has the authority to implement these things unilaterally, but he just doesn't. Right? He throws them out. He says, let's try them in minor league baseball. He could just say, hey, there's a pitch clock tomorrow. forever and forever. Maybe what they're trying to do a little bit is, get all these people exposed to these different rule changes and maybe convince the public a little bit that, hey, this is not so bad. It doesn't really change the game much. You still love it. You still come out to it. Gets people a little bit more comfortable with that idea. And then they're going to say, more and more, fewer and fewer people would react so strongly to the fact that they would change the rules in Major League Baseball because they had already changed the rules in a game that they saw,
and they tested it. They tested it beforehand.
Right. It's not even just testing, but just like, getting people used to the consequence, like the new thing. It's kind of like turning the water up in the frog in the boiling pot, whatever.
Well, going back to the 5 underrated teams.
Absolutely.
I know the White Sox is one, the Giants, Rangers, the Diamondbacks, and the Pirates. And, we were just talking about the Rangers and how they're going to be, they're underrated because they do have a lot of younger players this year. They have a new coaching staff kind of and more analytic based. So
the change in the coaching staff could be really huge. But, you're talking about the Pirates. Keone Keller was in the news today for refusing to talk to the media. That's an interesting turn. Rangers traded him.
It's not.
To the
He's
Pirates.
an asshole.
Oh, apparently he's an asshole. Levi, some reporters, the Rangers that I follow, are saying, hey, guys, he's not an asshole. Other people are saying, apparently, Chase saying he's an asshole.
he couldn't start. He got grounded.
The Pirates,
he got grounded when he was supposed to be there. He had to start out in AAA.
Yeah, the D-backs traded away Goldschmidt, right?
Yeah.
And so basically you're putting them in the bottom of the NL West.
You got anything on the Chicago White Trash?
I don't see the White Sox.
Well, that's pretty
doing
intense,
much.
but even though they didn't sign Bryce Harper and missing out on Manny Machado, they still have outfield Eloy Jimenez. He was best of the young prospects and cusp of the major leagues. They have outfielder Luis Robert, right-hander Dylan Cease, and Nick Madrigal, and a couple other chances to help the club win. So, they do have some big-name players over there.
Yeah, and Chase and I would disagree on the Giants. I just don't feel like – I feel like they're going to see how their season's going, and they're going to trade one of either Buster Posey or Madison Bumgarner to try to rebuild their farm. I don't see them having a great year.
I mean, we'll see on that.
You're talking about them signing a big player, and I don't really think about putting Machado or putting Harper on them puts them in the playoffs.
It is an odd number season. I get where we're coming from. They only win on evens.
No,
but we will be able to cover that. We'll talk about that because it looks like we've got ourselves a nice little in with the Giants when we're out in Phoenix.
Right. For anybody who's listening to this episode for the first time, we're going to be in Arizona at spring training games.
Making our first trip.
Next
well,
year.
The boys are.
I mean, next week. Sorry.
No,
we
bought a cardboard cutout of you that we're sticking in the back seat.
we're bringing you along.
We're bringing you along.
Geez.
It says all of your things.
March
Daddy,
March
flexible. Joey Gallo. It's got 5 buttons we can push.
Oh my gosh.
He's so flexible. Daddy,
flexible.
you're right. March 10th to March 14th, we'll be out there. If you're going to be out there, hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, or whatever, and we might talk to you. But we're going to be watching the Rangers a bit, and that's what we're talking about. Ways the Rangers can improve from last year. Last year they had 67 wins.
Win more games.
Yeah. I would think a reasonable expectation, we were talking about this the other day, is 75 wins, 74 wins. Showing signs of improvement. We've got a new manager in town. I don't think Bannister was worse, but I'm absolutely going to agree that he was not the best. A lot of players didn't feel like he connected very well with them. He spoke in these platitudes. He was all about rough and tough. He didn't really connect with the players like they wanted. We got a new manager. Players like Odor, players like Mazzara, Gallo, all of these young stars that we have, or potential stars, all of these young players that we have are getting 1 year better, hopefully 1 year older. Showing improvement there can really go a long way. And, even last year, the pitching staff was a wreck. We rolled out, what was the other Mike guy that sucked so bad? The Rangers had, Mike Minor. They had, the guy, God Lord, a bunch of has-beens on the Rangers pitching
that's what
staff.
this looks like again.
Matt Moore. That's what I'm thinking
Moore.
of. Matt Moore was so bad. But for the Rangers in 2019, I'm thinking, Joey Gallo, if he can sit in left field and play 130, 140 games in left field, he's not required to, show the same defensive prowess as a center fielder. He's out there. He can definitely play left field. He doesn't hate third base anymore. He's got a new manager, new pitching coach, new hitting coach. All of those things for the Rangers, and that can definitely help improve the team. What we got on the Rangers today? Going on today, they were playing split squad versus the Padres and the Dodgers.
And today is Sunday, guys.
Today is Sunday.
Yes.
That was,
so you know.
That was information from Jake.
Well, that way people are like, well, what fucking
what
day did they split squad?
Right.
Well, they did split squad
Right.
We
Sunday.
will say, though, yesterday.
They lost to the Dodgers. They beat the Padres. What's up?
Yesterday, Luke Farrell, son
Yeah.
of John Farrell
Right.
for the Red Sox, busted in the face with a line drive.
Line drive to the jaw.
So
Yeah,
he's not
broken
related
his
to
jaw.
Will Ferrell, right?
No relation to Will Farrell. Wrong Farrell. The other Farrell I liked, John Farrell, back when he was...
If you were listening to the broadcast, they said, the hospital's right across the street, so they just rolled him over there. Apparently he's A-OK. Probably going to have jaw surgery or something. It's going to suck, but
Not
he's
sure.
he's okay there.
Yeah.
Today, Lance
Well, hey,
Lynn.
you know what? If you can't eat solid foods, come over here to Doghouse. They got that nice little vanilla rum shake.
Oh, my God.
There you go. Today, Lance Lynn and Brock Burke both pitched for the Rangers to start off.
What's a Brock Burke?
Brock Burke is a star left-handed pitching prospect for the Rangers. That's what a Brock Burke is.
Did he play in Frisco?
He has not played in Frisco because he came to the Rangers in the offseason when the Rangers traded Jurickson Profar, who did play in Frisco, along with his brother Jeremy Profar. But
Do you ever know Jeremy?
It's Jeremy.
Jeremy.
You know
Yes.
Jeremy?
Jeremy.
Was he cool?
Jeremy is a cool guy.
Okay.
He's a pretty cool guy.
he's always improving. He's always getting better.
Is he still?
He's going to get better all the way to AAA.
Is he still in the organization though?
Yeah,
He is.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Lance Lynn had okay. Brock Burke had okay. But Burke, he's basically third or fourth. He's knocking on the door for the Rangers. I was arguing with somebody on Twitter about seeing Joe Palumbo or Brock Burke come to the Rangers this year. I think by July or August or September that we could absolutely see one of these guys. They're pretty good.
Well, aside from all that, Brewers lost.
Aside from all that,
staying in Phoenix.
Douglas says, "Shut
Staying
the
in the
fuck
Phoenix
up! I don't
area.
care."
The Brewers.
I've got one more target. Tell me what's up.
One more. Right-handed pitcher, Bobby Wall, tore his ACL actually after throwing a pitch against the Mariners. So
Threw it so hard he came out of
threw
his knee.
it so hard he blew out his knee. So
right?
he'll be out most likely for the whole 2019 season. He did play in AAA, but he was projected to pitch for the Brewers this year. So
you think it's a funny, a weird, and it's not funny. I think it's a weird injury for a pitcher. Mariano Rivera tore his ACL, missed a season. He did his shag and fly balls.
I mean, it's super easy to tear it. I've seen lots of people, cheering for the past however many years I've cheered. People
you
just kind
yours,
of
didn't you?
No, I didn't blow my ACL. We didn't know what it was. It was a tear somewhere. I did a lot of physical therapy, was in huge knee braces, but I did see someone literally fall from. It wasn't even maybe a foot from the ground. I guess may have stepped on it wrong, and her ACL was torn. She had to get full surgery, and it's a pretty tough injury. Especially you can really do it anyway to tear that. So it's not fun. No fun in
Yep.
surgery.
The no fun zone.
No fun zone. No fun league. We don't cover the no fun league.
We don't cover the no fun league.
I think that's basically all we got. I don't think we've
If you
hardly
hear
ever
that
mentioned.
paper, that's our note taker.
I don't think we've
Sorry.
hardly ever mentioned Hunter Pence. You don't really love him so much,
I fucking hate Hunter Pence.
right? But a lot of people think he's a cool dude. For myself,
Let's look
personally,
up the definition of cool dude.
for myself, I
Probably has
really,
a fucking man
I
bun and
really-
a lease on a car.
he's competing for the fourth outfielder spot, and I really, really hope he does not make it because that tells me that the Rangers
What are we doing? Playing softball? We got Rover.
fourth outfield, right? The backup outfielder. Yeah, I'm hoping that one of the Rangers' younger guys like Willie Calhoun makes it so that he has such a good spring that he makes it so it's obvious that we need to have him in the lineup. We need to have him on the major league team and not in the minors still. A guy like Hunter Pence taking away at bats from Calhoun, from Gallo to Shields, from Mazzara, that says that those guys aren't hitting as well as they should be. So
Right.
that Chirinos is gone. There's a lot of changes. If you look over last year's lineup, no Beltre, no Profar, no Chirinos, no Drew Robinson. Thank God. Who's that other white outfielder that sucked?
Rua?
Yeah, Ryan
Rua.
Rua.
Ryan Rua.
No more Ryan Rua. So the Rangers, new coach, new players. We got this.
Can't spell
Well-
ruin. Can't spell ruin without Rua.
something like
Well-
I will say, though, and this is not Rangers news, but I would like to say, friend of the show, Melanie Newman,
that. Oh, nice.
congratulations on your Salem Red
Absolutely.
Sox job.
Congrats to her.
She worked with Angelica
Me.
at Frisco Rough Riders.
There
She
you
was
go.
the play-by-play, did some work with Fox Sports, but she is now the director of broadcasting for the Salem Red Sox.
Nice.
And her
That's
family are
awesome.
huge Red Sox fans, so it all works out really well for them.
Perfect
There you
for
go.
her. Congratulations on that.
Cool. Well,
So
I think.
we're going to work on getting.
Oh yes.
What is
That
it?
was a little bit more Rangers on Mike Minor.
Minor.
So he was just. I think it's another way to point to the change of scenery this year. New manager, new front office, and we've got Mike Minor who won't be held back. Last year he'd be great in some games, and yet the Rangers would still hold him back. They would still pull him after the 5th inning, or they'd still pull him after 90 pitches. He doesn't have to rehab that shoulder anymore. It's not
Maybe
a worry.
he's handicapped and doesn't know his own strength.
Right?
That's true.
He's
Like
going to
a
be good to go.
chimpanzee.
He's going to be completely good to go. So we'll see how he does this year.
Another cool fact does not have to do with any MLB stuff, but the original cast from the Sandlot might be making a TV series, so they might be the dads to the kids, possibly.
That would be awesome.
That would be really cool.
Is it Sandalite or Sandalot?
It's Sandlot.
That's our new show title, guys.
Stop! It's a Sandlot. But
That
you know,
mispronunciation brought to you by Doghouse Vanilla Shakes with Rum.
Damn straight.
Oh my
No,
God.
Sandlot was my favorite show growing up, or my favorite movie growing up.
Wow,
That
is
and-
it a show or is
now
it a movie? We don't
Hopefully, it's going to be a show.
It's going to be a
Hopefully
show.
It's going to be a show.
That Rookie of the Year,
Oh, Henry Roland Gardner.
Little Big Leagues. Henry Rowan Gardner. A lot of people didn't realize was in American Idol or was in American Pie.
American Pie.
I didn't know that
Who watched
actually.
American
to be honest,
Pie?
I did
Hot
not watch
Ice.
that.
Hot Ice was the best part of the
Okay.
Rookie of the Year.
But I think it's really exciting that they might make it a series. We'll get to see badass Benny the Jet.
Well,
get
guys-
to see, Smalls.
Right?
Corey's mom's barking at him about going to eat dinner.
Angelica wants to go out with her friends. I got to go out. Chase got to go out. Somebody got to go
I
out.
don't have to go anywhere, unfortunately. I got to go to hell.
Oh,
But
okay, well,
anyway,
Okay, you may all go to hell, but I'll go to Texas.
so next week
Boom.
we'll probably be doing
Hey.
this show a little bit earlier or on the road, calling Angelica
Right.
in.
Totally.
So we'll go from there. We'll let you guys know. Also, be ready. We'll be on YouTube the whole time that we're driving out.
Yeah.
For most of the time, we'll be streaming, doing some updates and things
YouTube,
like that.
Facebook Live, Instagram Live. There's going to be Periscope on Twitter. There's going to be all sorts of video. Like we said, on the road Sunday in a week from now, probably going to have Angelica Skype into us or go on our Instagram, or we're going to be giving to you special episodes on the podcast. We're going to have spring training special episodes. From the road, from the stadium, all that stuff. So the podcast schedule is going to be disrupted, but we're going to be giving you a lot more.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And then we've got like 2 weeks, and we were at opening day.
Make sure you
Absolutely.
follow us on all social media.
Yeah.
Cold beers and curveballs, CB and CB podcast for our Snapchat. So make sure you're following that. I'm sure the guys
Snapchat
will
and Twitter is CB and
Twitter
CB
too,
podcast.
yeah.
Right. So make
And
sure
thanks
you
to
do
Ron
that.
Ryan for letting us bombard his place.
Thanks to Ron.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Ron loves our shit.
He says every
So-
day it's shit. Why can't it be better, Chase?
Why can't it be better? But
right.
yes,
I think
so
that's a wrap,
enjoy baseball irresponsibly, enjoy Doghouse irresponsibly, but drink responsibly. And until next week, we'll see you guys then.
Boom, boom.